A year after her twin sister's unsolved murder, blind psychic medium Darcy sets out to solve the crime. This is the first film that I've seen by writer-director Damian McCarthy, and it certainly won't be the last. McCarthy takes a relatively simple story about an unsolved murder and transforms it into a creepy, atmospheric horror film. The majority of the movie unfolds in a single location, a large, cold house with imposing stone walls and dark wooden accents. My wife was not a fan of the house's aesthetic, and while I wouldn't want to live there either, it would definitely make for a very cool weekend getaway. The gloomy setting perfectly complements the eerie tone of the film. The strangeness begins when psychiatrist Ted leaves for work, leaving his wife Dani, played by Carolyn Bracken, alone in their newly unfurnished home. The house is dark and chilly, with only a tent set up in the main room to provide warmth and comfort. It doesn't take long for one of Ted's disturbed patients to appear at the front door, leading to a tense and well-acted scene. The man at the door does seem unhinged, yet some of what he says makes sense, putting Dani in an uncomfortable and dangerous situation, with two options, neither of which sound like good options. Anyway, Dani dies. This isn't a spoiler, it happens in the first few minutes of the movie, and the story jumps forward a year. Dr. Ted has moved on with a new girlfriend, but Dani's sister Darcy, also played by Carolyn Bracken, arrives at the house to investigate the murder, and the new girlfriend, she's not too happy about it. Now, despite being blind, Darcy has a psychic ability that she hopes will help uncover the truth behind her sister's death. Darcy didn't come to the house alone, though. She also brings a life-size wooden mannequin, which could not look any creepier. Now, from this point on, the tension ramps up as strange and creepy events begin to unfold around the house. There are a few effective scares sprinkled throughout, and while the plot itself is solid, it wasn't the most groundbreaking aspect of the movie. What really stood out to me was the direction and the acting. Carolyn Bracken's portrayal of both Dani and Darcy was so distinct that I didn't even realize they were played by the same person. The house and the mannequin are key elements in creating the film's scares, and they certainly kept me on edge for most of the film's runtime. As the story progresses, it twists and turns and leads to a satisfying conclusion. Oddity is a polished, atmospheric film that makes the most of its relatively low budget, small cast, and limited locations. It's not the type of horror movie that leaves you feeling unsettled afterwards. Instead, it's the kind of well-executed fun horror film that we don't see nearly enough nowadays. Blind psychics, blowing out candles, sitting around a large table eating cheese, unnaturally creepy anniversary gifts, very large peepholes.